Hey, how are you all today? Gotta tell you, it is actually freezing in Detroit. And I don't know if you can see out my window there, but it's also actually snowing. So a week ago today, it was 70 degrees and it was beautiful and it was sunny. And 70 degrees is probably like 20 degrees Celsius. Today, we are at 36 degrees, which is probably 3 degrees Celsius. So we are in kind of a big chill right now. So uh, let me see if I've got the chat on here. See who's here. Yeah, so if you're in the house, oh, there we are. Yeah, it is so cold. And it takes a minute to get used to a really cold weather, and it's unseasonably cold right now. Again, because we dropped all those degrees just in a week. Uh, but here we are, and still trying to get all my garlic in. I kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And now we're here, and boy, that needs to get in pretty darn quick. Um, I'm going to show you in just a little while a diagram of how I'm redoing some of my beds this year for next year because I really want to integrate flowers into my garden more. Uh, I want them to look more effortless in the whole design. So I'll be showing you that in just a little while. But it sounds like it's either cold or wet, is what a lot of us are dealing with. And both of them make it kind of a little less fun to be out there doing the gardening stuff. But so glad you're here. And I've got a list of things for us to talk about today. Oh, wanted to give you an update. Last time we were together, I talked about taking my peppers and chilies, uh, which I'm so thankful I did that last week, out, but I took them with stem, and I got that tip from the chili chump. And can I tell you, they're already ripening. I don't think that would have happened had I not done that. So that is a great tip. So if you want to like leave them out there till the last minute, just make sure you take some plant with them. And I know some people, and I think that was said in the chat last week, that they just cut the entire plant out and hang it upside down. I think that's incredibly smart, and I can't believe that all these peppers have ripened. So I'm very thankful for that tip for sure. Now I don't know if this really fits here, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. I started a gluten-free sourdough starter. And I know I'm kind of late to that game because apparently during COVID, everybody was starting sourdough starters because we were all looking for fun and interesting things to do. Um, and I think the instructions I got with it were not particularly good because it just said, you know, add a quarter cup of gluten-free flour and then a quarter cup of water. And as I recall, back when I did non-gluten free sourdough starters, it was a little more uh, picky than that. You had to measure your flour by, grams and add certain amounts of water based on how many grams of flour you put in. So I think this sourdough starter has not done so well. So I'm going to be starting that again, and I think I will at least Um, I will at least take some photos and post those on Instagram of how that's going. But I have several friends who are gluten free, and I'm not, I don't have celiac or anything like that, but I sure feel better when I don't eat gluten. So I thought, I'm going to give this a shot and be able to have some of my friends over uh, for some gluten free snacks. But hello, everybody. It's so good to see you here. Thank you so much. Uh, do you guys still have anything that is out? Well, I know some of you have so much more mild climates than my UK friends. I know you're going to be able to leave things out there. Actually, you're still planting things out there. Uh, but I still have carrots and potatoes and beets and some kale, which I'm letting get some frost because they taste so much better. Um, I have arugula, I have celeriac. So still a lot of things that need to be coming in because we're getting really hard frost right now. So they're not going to make it. They're not going to be very happy uh, too much later. Catherine is saying that she would love to see my microgreens set up. Okay, I think I did I do that in a video? Maybe I haven't. Shame on me. I've been a little lax in getting just regular videos out, so I need to do that. So I sure will, because they're doing beautifully. They are doing. I'm very excited about how that's going. Oh, and Amanda is saying, "Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. You can't, boy, you got to feed these things like, well, at least daily while you're trying to get the starter going. But it just seems a lot less fussy than a regular starter. So I just want to do a little more research before I start doing it again. Because boy, you have to be on those. Um, yes. Christine has sprouts, kale, field beans, and field beans I hear great things about. I cannot grow those because they will not survive my winters. Um, oh, hello, Adam. Thank you for joining us. This is Adam, first time joining the live chat. Potty mouth is a thing, isn't it? Love that show. Love being part of that. Um, oh yeah. So Catherine, I will do something about my microgreens. I bet I have pictures of it on my Instagram channel, but I will do more of a full setup uh, for YouTube because, boy, those are great things to grow here in the winter anyway. Um, so let's see what else I wanted to talk about. Oh, do many of you have asparagus growing? Because I'm noticing, because we had this incredibly beautiful, warm early November, that they're just starting to die back now. And I'm thinking we're going to be out there in the freezing weather cutting those down and mulching them up. So yeah, it's just been such a unique uh, weather time. I don't know, but it's amazing to me. They still look beautiful and they're full and lush, but they're finally starting to brown up just a little bit. I am going to do more videos coming up on how I'm growing indoors because it is really time to grow beyond the microgreens. So I'm going to be obviously planting a lot of green greens, uh, and some Asian greens, bok choy. I want to try some radish inside. Uh, just some stuff that I've never attempted to grow inside. And I've also heard from Jess at Plot 37 that she grows cucumbers inside. So I'm going to try to attempt doing that up my growing frame and see if we can't maybe get a cucumber or two here in the winter, which would, I think, be great fun. Okay, so let's take a look. I wanted to let you see. Wait, we've got a question. If you have a question or want me to see something, I'm just going to ask you to put it in caps because it just sticks out. Oh, Nicola has flowers on her strawberry plants. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Where in your home do you grow the greens? I if you see behind me, I have a black shelving unit that's 2 feet deep by 4 feet wide. And that's being converted because my growing station was in another room. I'm converting that one to my growing station, so that's where they'll be growing. I have lights that hang from above on each shelf, and I have a large it's like a large tray that is 4 feet wide, 2 feet deep, and I'm going to say 2.5 inches deep for depth. That I do like a capillary matting to keep everything going nicely, and I only have to water that about once a week. So it makes growing indoors really nice for me. It's really nice. Oh, Adam is a gardener by trade. Yes, and this year has been very strange. Very strange. The UK climate has been unusually hot and dry. Yes, some things love that, and some things are like, no, thank you. We really liked a nice, moist, uh, coolish environment, so we'd like to go back to that. But yeah, this year we've had unseasonably warm, and then we went to freezing cold very quickly. Um, the lights I use, Nicola, are they're fluorescents. They are full range grow lights, although I'm not sure if they're actually listed as a grow light, but the lumens and it's lumens are the brightness. So I think that's like 3600. Boy, don't quote me on that. I need to look that up to make sure um, I'm right on that. But they're a really nice grow light and they don't draw a whole lot of energy, which I also really enjoy. So here I'm going to try sharing my screen, which I think I can. Give me 1 second. Now this is a program that I use. Here we are. That just helps me kind of keep track of my garden and what's in. Um, can you all see that? Do you see it's kind of like yeah, I think I pop back to the other. I think you can see this. Um, so these are these are two beds that I have behind my garage. Now this is my garage here. It's a 2-car garage, and these are some rain barrels. And this is traditionally where I grow my indeterminate tomatoes because I have string that runs up the side of the garage wall, and the tomatoes get attached to that. So that's been just a beautiful bed for that. Now, these are a couple of the really big raised beds that I have behind there. Then I also have this little back 40 spot back here. And I am, instead of planting my garlic in rows, because I also have drip irrigation in here, so everything would be kind of linear. I'm growing the garlic is going at the edge of these circles. Now, unfortunately, you can't always, every program doesn't always do everything you want. So it would be ideal if this were just a half circle, because I'm planting the garlic right around the edges here. And that way I can then plant things like flowers and other vegetables inside while the tallness of the garlic kind of surrounds it. So I'm hoping that it's going to look kind of interesting. Now, I started it by doing this really big one because I was going to have it snake through it, but it was just starting to get really complicated. And quite honestly, I had to get the garlic had to get in the ground. Uh, so that's where the majority of my regular garlic is. And then I have a row of it, just a plain old row of garlic here to get those finished off. And these are trellises that go from one bed to the other. They're like just an arched trellis. I have these at both ends. And here, these two little dots here, I want to put some urns, like urns for flowers, and grow like tall flowers in there. I really just want to kind of try to mix it up a little bit and not make it as farmish looking. And I don't say that in a bad way, because I think farms and rows of produce are absolutely beautiful. I'm just trying to get back to my original roots of how I used to garden and see if I can't make it a little more interesting. Was that helpful to see what I meant? Because I know speaking about things is a lot more difficult than if you could show it. So, okay. So, anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I'm going to add that diagram to my website so you can kind of follow along with changes as they come up, and or give me suggestions on things that you think would look nice. But I really kind of want to mix it all up. Are Adam's asking, am I growing flowers for cutting? Absolutely. But I'm also growing them just to stay in the garden and look beautiful, which I think is part of the beauty of flowers. But I sure wouldn't mind. And it worked out a little bit this year. One of my goals was, as people come to see me, because I think I've shared in the past, I have some mobility issues and can't always get out like I used to. I want the ability to let them go outside and pick a bouquet of flowers after they've been here. So I'd like them in my home, and I'd like to bless other people with letting them take them home to their home. Yeah, so I will get my garden plan up on the website. I'm pretty sure I can do that. If not, I can load it as a PDF and just change it up every time I need to. Uh, okay, now I also got another seed haul this week, but I don't have them in front of me right now because they have no pictures. It's Johnny Seeds, which is one of my favorite seed companies as well. But they don't put pictures on their packets, which I guess in the scheme of things probably makes that a better fiscal choice for a seed company. So I want to load the pictures in before I show you uh, the seeds that I got. But I am going to be adding a portion to the website, which is going to say new for 2023, like what I'm planning to grow next year. But beautiful, beautiful seeds. I can't wait. Um, now this is just a curiosity. Have you guys ever grown just sweet alyssum? Now, I always had I always thought it needed more shade. It needed a little pampering. Um, oh my word, sweet alyssum. It got through our hot, hot summer. It is still blooming in my garden, and we have dipped down uh, well below freezing. So we've already gotten into the hard frosts, and it is still absolutely beautiful. So I think that's one of my new like favorite staples. Uh, I really thought it needed a whole lot more pampering than it does. And wow, this stuff just takes kind of whatever gets thrown at it. So if you ever see sweet alyssum, uh, get yourself a pack or two. And I grew this last year when I did my winter seed sowing. And we're almost coming up for that again. So I will be getting alyssum in there. It grew beautifully over the winter. Um, the fragrance of alyssum, oh my word. I was very surprised. Um, uh, how long how long and wide are my beds? The two big ones that I just showed you behind my garage are 4 feet wide and 16 feet long. I have two others that are like 3 by 8, and then I have that big, we call it, the Outback, is about 68 feet worth of growing I mean, it's huge, and I'll try to see if I can get all of it on the website. It looks so much bigger when it's in a diagram because you want it big enough so that you can see the plants that are being planted there. Um, okay, so everyone agrees with. So I think I was just late. Uh, I was late to the Alyssum party because oh my goodness, so beautiful. And that will be a staple from now on. Um, yeah, everybody likes it. Well, that's pretty cool. So next time, tell me. No, I had no idea. It's beautiful. Uh, so are any of you planning on planting any new flowers for next year? I have a few new varieties of snapdragons. Zinnias are always, I mean, they're diehards in the garden. I finally had to pull mine because they were just starting to look very straggly because they've been through heat and then freezing. I'm also really loving growing amaranth, and I have some new uh, colors of that, and they're just gorgeous. Uh, and they almost some of them almost look like dreadlocks when they're coming down. They are so beautiful. So if I do those urns in that one bed, I'm going to grow some really big, tall amaranth that will drape down, which I think could maybe be very fun. Um, so that's kind of what's going on in my little corner of the world right now. Uh, she has more trouble growing flowers than veg. Well, and if you are a tried and true veg gardener, you also know what varieties grow well for you. And if you're newer to flowers, it's kind of the same thing. You got to figure out this one works for me and it works on a sunny spot. This one works for me, but it needs some shade in the afternoons. I mean, it's really the same process um, as veg gardening. It just takes on a different end result, right? Your harvest is just some beautiful flowers, not maybe something that you can eat. So, anybody got anything wonderful happening in their gardening world? I feel like I'm really in that. It's flipping over. I pushed it as long as I could. And, old man winter came in with a vengeance. So it is time to move indoors. And I mean, the fact that my setup isn't even set up yet is a little disturbing, but we're going to get it set up pretty quick because growing still needs to happen. Now, it's funny, Catherine, you were talking about runner beans you can grow, but sweet peas, no chance. I started sweet peas last year. They didn't do anything. And I've learned to appreciate sweet peas more actually since I started doing the potty mouth because, uh, Steve at Green Side Up is a huge sweet pea grower. And I thought, these look stunning. Mine didn't do much. And I think it was user error. I think I don't think I babied them enough when they were little. So I'm going to give that another shot this coming year, and see if I can't do that. I think I missed a few. Let me just go back. Oh, Robin is saying that her new favorite for 2022 was a red bachelor button. It was more fuchsia than red, but wow, I've never grown bachelor buttons. I've seen them for sure, and they look beautiful. Those have to be deadheaded, don't they? I'm not always. I mean, I don't mind deadheading, but you know how marigolds are? Like, you always have to deadhead them. And uh, I don't always do that. Or I don't always get to it as quickly as you need to keep it looking like a flowering plant, right? If you forget too much, um, you lose it. Yeah, for best look, weekly deadheading. Yeah, I'm not a lazy gardener. I just can't always do that. So if someone is here that can help me with that, happy to send them out to Deadhead. But I can't always do that. So I try to grow things that need as little upkeep as possible, but still look absolutely gorgeous. Um, okay, Adam, that looks interesting. I've treated myself to 4 different varieties of sweet pea seeds, courtesy of my wife for our wedding anniversary. Lovely. I'm still deciding whether to start now or in the spring. Now, that's true. In the UK, you can get those going right now, can't you? Yeah, that's amazing. I am a little jealous of my UK friends who can do that. See, if I were to start them now inside, they would be like 3 feet tall by the time I put them out, which might, it might make them a stronger plant, uh, but I only have so much space inside. And I don't know about you guys, but about a month out of when things need to start going outside, my house looks like a garden center. Literally, I've got plants or flats of plants wherever I can find room because that's just what you have to do, right? Um, got to keep your plants happy. And, they need light and they need heat and they need water. So, yeah. So any plant any flowers that you think I need to think about planting? Like I said, I'm doing snapdragons. I do sunflowers. I'm doing a lot of alyssum this year because it's just so pretty. I do China asters. What else do I do? Zinnias. Did I say zinnias? Yeah, I'm with you, Stephen. The only, yeah, the only thing that grows in my garden now is snow. Yes, it actually stopped snowing here, uh, but we have accumulation. So, oh, hollyhocks. That's a great idea. Oh, that is a great idea. Thank you, Catherine. That's a great idea. I have not grown hollyhocks in a long time. Black-eyed Susans. Aren't those are those kind of an echinacea? Yeah, don't quote me on that either, but I think they're beautiful. You're absolutely right. Nicola's asking about any roses. Okay, here's the interesting thing. I started gardening, like legit gardening, as an adult kind of gardening, because my grandfather, who lived in Scotland, I think, I don't know if they were in Glasgow, they might have been, uh, was a rose gardener. So his entire front, we'd call it a front lawn here. I don't know if you call it anyway, the front of his house was all roses. So I started series gardening by roses. So I used to grow tea roses and old fashioned bush roses, which obviously are so much um, better fragrance than any tea rose I've ever smelled. Uh, but that's what really, really hooked me. And my grandfather had already passed when I started doing that. So, and from there, everything kind of, oh, look at all these good ideas. I need to go back. But thank you. Yeah, roses are what got me going. So yes, I really thought our one neighbor was going to put a fence up. And if that was the case, because it would face it would face west. So it would get the afternoon sun. And I know roses do not like to go to bed damp. So I thought I could use that as a rose, but I may have to add some elsewhere because they're really beautiful. And I feel like it's a connection, even though my whether or not my grandpa knows that's my connection to him. But delphiniums are beautiful. Thank you. Foxgloves are those are the really tall. They're really tall, aren't they? Maybe that's not fox. Maybe I'm thinking of something. I think I'm thinking of something else. Now, Nicotiana, I did not know that had a lovely smell. Hmm. Yeah, I have seen Stephen saying about Jess from Roots and Refuge grew black hollyhocks. I have seen those at Baker Creek. Uh, there was a moment just even weeks ago, I was thinking it would be really fun to have kind of a goth garden. Like one of my beds, I would just grow like really dark things. And the hollyhocks came to mind because they're stunning. And there's something about the black against that almost lime green that makes them look pretty amazing. Oh, now wallflowers. I've been one, but I have never grown those. Uh, yeah, so very interesting that Nicotiana has a scent. I did not expect it to. Now I have put in a lot of tulips for next spring, and I do have a funny video coming out. I'm going to say a couple days, and it's about planting tulips for the first time in a container, which I'd never done. And yeah, oopsie. Half the video goes backwards because I realized that was a bad idea. So, yeah, sometimes you have to do it to figure out. You got to at least do it once to figure out what you need to be doing and not. Yes, foxgloves. Yes, they're very pretty. Uh, I have a lot of stocks that I'm planting for this year. Ooh, chocolate cosmos. Um, Robin's asked. Oh, she's asking Nicola if what she and I feel like stock. I, I have not had problems with that one because I just feel like it needs sun, water, maybe some fish fertilizer every couple weeks. I did get some potash that just showed up um, because I grew a roselle hibiscus, and I was growing it for the flowers and for there's a name for the base of the flower. It's not a corm, not a crown. Okay, that's lost. I've lost that for a moment. But you make tea out of it, and I got absolutely no flowers. This plant is easily 6 feet tall, got a gorgeous structure, dark red, beautiful branches, and not one flower. So I thought, I bet this dirt, this soil that I have in it, it's in a container, it's probably got no potassium whatsoever. So I'm going to try growing that again next year. But I thought, yeah, containers, you just you can't check your soil. I think you can't check it enough unless it's all brand new soil and you know exactly what you've put in. Uh, but I think the one I had it in just needs calyx. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Paula. Yes. And if any of you have had red zinger tea, that's one of the um, biggest components of it is these roselle calyxes, and they are. So I'm a tea drinker, so I thought, wow, I'd love to grow my own. Um, Graham's asking, what is my favorite veg to grow? Um, I'm always a sucker for a root crop because you just don't know what you're going to get till it's done. But my favorite might be oh, it's so hard to pick. Um, Kale, I love kale. Uh, and I can't wait to go out and pick some over the next few days because it's been so cold. I think it's just going to be sweet. Oh, there's my kitty. Sweet as sugar. So I can't wait to do that. I'm trying to think what else really. Mm, Oh, I love Brussels sprouts. I love turnips. Like, because when they come right out of your garden and you know it's organic and there's no big sprays on it and the seeds are not modified, the taste is just it's just incredible. So, yeah, I don't know if I could pick one, but I'll think about that, Graham, and if I if I come up with just one. It's like those questions, if you could only take one book with you on a desert island, what would that book be? And you always think, I'd at least want a couple, right? Um, I wonder if they have foxglove in Black Leanne, because I really think that would be kind of fun. Just, have a goth garden. I think that would be, or at least a goth bed, and just have a little fun with it. Um, yeah. Wow. Wow. I did not know that, but commercial potatoes are sprayed 16 times. I think that's why potatoes coming out of your own backyard taste so good because there's nothing like it. I think it doesn't even really taste like a potato. I mean, my husband and I are not enormous potato eaters, but when it comes out of the garden, yeah, it's hard to go, "Oh, well, we don't want any more of those." Those are just yeah. Now perennial okay, here, Paul. Perennial brassicas, I would love to learn more about those because, again, my UK friends can have those things. I'm not sure I can. I did overwinter last year some kale. Didn't realize I was overwintering it, but it came back, uh, incredibly strong in the spring, and that went to seed super fast. So, and here in Detroit, our seasons seem to go there's no, like, long overlap. Like I said, last week we were 70, right now we're 36. It goes from one season fast into the other. So there's not even a minute to go, to let something and it gets cold. Gets really cold. So I know you have, like, perennial cabbages. Um, I've seen tree kale. I've also seen some other things that to me look absolutely wonderful. Um, yeah, look at that. Walking stick cabbage, about 6 feet tall. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, Robin's saying that her kale did the same thing here in Chicagoland. My son lives in Chicago, so love Chicago. It's a great fun city. I should say my son and my granddaughter live in Chicago. Uh, okay. Well, I'm hoping that as our seasons change here, perhaps we'll be able to overwinter some of these things. But I like in my grow when this becomes more the grow room, there will be lots of kale growing in here. And I was thinking what I might do is just take them outside before I harvest them and let them enjoy a frost, and then harvest them even though they've been totally grown indoors. Um, but anything anyway, yeah, so I'm very excited to be starting seeds again, within the next week or so. Now next week, Thursday, is Thanksgiving here in the US. So I don't think I'll be doing a show, but I will let you know if I am. because I always put like a card out that says, this is coming. Uh, but my granddaughter and son are going to be in town. So I think I would, need to be mom and grandma that day and have fun with them. Uh, but we'll see. Uh, I just need to think through timing and all of that good stuff. Uh, Stephen from Urban White Buffalo Farm. Let me get that right. Urban White Buffalo Farm. This was his first success at getting actual heads. Congratulations. Because with this weather this year, that was no small feat, because we all got hotter faster and drier than we wanted to. So congratulations. That is an awesome thing. Paula is saying that she's experimenting with several here. We'll see how they do over winter. My normal kales do over winter. Snow down to 4. Okay. But I have backups in the greenhouse. Okay, because we will get down to about 4F as well, sometimes even lower depending on the wind chill and all of that. Yeah, no, if I could overwinter something like a kale, boy, that would be amazing. Thank you, Catherine, for letting me off. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of holidays like in the middle of the week, but fourth Thursday in November, always Thanksgiving. So, gosh, we've been on for almost 50 minutes here. So, I think that's all I've got. Yeah, I need to crank some videos out. And I'm aware of that. But I think the microgreens and we were talking about something else, but I also want to show how I set up my indoor growing station. So I'll be doing a video on that one as well, but I need to. Yeah, like I said, I did plant some last year and left it in more out of, I'm not going to say laziness, just more I'd heard you know, it would winter over. So, and again, it came back, but then it bolted right to seed. So we'll see. And I do have some out there. And one of mine was called Thousand Head Kale. It's this enormous plant. And I planted it just to see, like, is this really going to get that big? Well, it really does. Um, so so I can't wait to taste that after now that it's gotten a little freeze. So it looks like it's going to be very tasty. Uh oh, that's cute. I bet that looked really cute too, Robin. Um well, thank you, Graham. I think we're all going to go at this point. I think we're about, yeah, I'm about done. Um for my US friends, happy Thanksgiving next Thursday. For my UK friends, happy Thursday next week. I hope you all enjoy your week. Um, there's always things to do in the garden. Oh, I didn't even talk about tools. We were going to talk about tools and I didn't. So we'll talk about that next time. My true reaction is I don't think it will be Thursday. But lovely for all of you. The fact that you take time out of your day to be here is not lost on me. I thank you so much for that. This is one of the things I look forward to because I just love the interaction. I love hearing about what everyone's doing. And I think the gardening community is one of the loveliest communities around. So, um, you all take care, and we will chat soon. Bye now.